Hey everyone, Tbomb here at Tbomb Studios. I've promised 3 weeks ago I would do a Q&A. It's a bit overdue and I'm sorry about that. I had other things on the side. But finally here we are, ready to address your questions. So without any further ado, let's move on. The first question comes from CJG, who's saying, "Hey dude, I've been following you forever." And thanks for that. I also have that insatiable need for everything to be very exact tone-wise and what's actually played on the song versus what people tab. You have some of the most accurate tabs ever. And thanks again. How do you do it? I have especially trouble with trying to learn solos by ear, and I want to know if there are any special tricks to it. Rock on, man. For the first part of your question, how do I get the most accurate tabs ever? My advice would be to take your time. And by that I mean there are some songs, which I'm not gonna name because I don't want to hype it up too much, that I'm still tabbing after 6 or 7 years. There are songs that I've tabbed once and I go back to it and I find out that some parts are not actually correct. So first thing, take your time. If you really want to get to the bottom of it and get it as close as possible, you are gonna need to watch hours of live footage as well, because it will confirm that what you are tabbing is correct because you can see the guy actually playing it. There's also the matter of hand positioning. For example, Balthor plays a lot of open E chugging and then plays some sort of single note riff up the neck. But the fact that it's up the neck gives a much rounder, thicker tone as opposed to if they were playing it down the neck but on higher strings. That's also something you will pick up on watching live footage. And lastly, just know how many guitars you're transcribing. Often you will have a left side, right side guitar and a lead in the middle. So each guitar might not actually play the same thing or play the same thing the same way. If you take Pulverized, for example, that's a very good example of left, right guitars playing different things. And then once you know how many guitars roughly you are tabbing, it's just a matter of listening to it slowly. And yeah, if you listen to it slowly, you'll be able to pick up each and every detail. So you do your transcription. At the end, compare it against live footage. And that should confirm that your work is correct. So yeah, that really is the method for how I get my transcriptions done. With regards to your second question, which is trying to learn solos by ear, I would say, once again, take your time. And if you want to learn how to play something, you need to know what to learn and you need to know what to play. So the transcription would always come first. Listen to it slowly. Try and pick up on every detail. Is it a double pick note? Is it a hammer-on, a pull-off, a bend? All these little things. And then play that entire thing at maybe 50% speed and then 60% speed and then 70% speed, and gradually make your way to 100. Obviously, that's an advice that you probably have heard so many times. I know I have, and sometimes it's easy to overlook it and be like, oh, but I want to play it now. But really, practice makes perfect, so take your time. Sweet Lettuce, who says, how do you go about learning shreddy solos like James Murphy, for example? Keep it up, good covers. Thank you, man. I guess part of the answer has already been discussed before, but what I will add for shreddy solos in particular is that I put them in two separate boxes. You have the clean shreddy solos and the dirty or messy shreddy solos. Clean solos would be Jason Becker, James Murphy actually is a good example. And on the messier side, I would have Chuck, or part of Chuck's playing, and I'll explain in a second. And guys like the Hoffman brothers from the side. What does it matter? Is that in a clean solo, and I'll take James Murphy because you mentioned him specifically, every note is, I feel, calculated, has a purpose. Every note has a purpose. When he does those scale licks, like on Spiritual Healing, for example, it's logical because he goes down 5 notes and then up 3 and then down 5 again and then up 3. So every note is supposed to be where it is. And then on the other side, you have what I would call a dirty, shreddy solo. If you take Chuck's solo on Spiritual Healing again, he does always that harmonic minor phrase, you know, he goes down the neck in harmonic minor. And here you're really questioning, if you listen to it very slowly, you listen, he does 17, 16, 14, 14, 16, 14. Like there is no real pattern to it. So it's more tremolo pick and move your fingers down and record that. And I think when learning shreddy solos, know which one it is, and then the approach will be slightly different. On a clean solo, you transcribe it, you learn exactly like it's supposed to be. It is doable. Even though it seems fast, it's very doable. That's kind of the standard approach. Messy solo is the alternative approach. You're not gonna get every note played exactly like he does, because when he played it, I don't even think he calculated each note. So then take the same mindset. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna tremolo pick the strings and move your left or right hand, depending, your left hand down the neck in the same fashion as he does. But if you listen to the two things, his versus yours, it's gonna be slightly different, but it doesn't matter because you captured the spirit of the solo. So when it comes to learning shreddy solos, that's my advice. Save yourself the trouble of learning every little note of a lick that was never intended to be precise in the first place. Play it in the style of what he does. I hope that, you know, gives you a little bit of food for thought when it comes to shreddy solos. It has helped me a lot, because otherwise I would still not be able to play Spiritual Healing today if I wanted to get each and every single note the right way. So yeah, that's that. Moving on, Green Owl Gamer asks me, how many guitars do you have? Fun fact, I have 5 right now as of recording this video, but in 3 or 4 hours I will have 6. Because I get one delivered today actually, and I'm very excited for that. My guitars, I will run through them in order of when I got them. Starting off with, so the first one is an Epiphone Les Paul Custom. Actually, it's the second guitar I've owned. The first one has met a very dramatic fate. I don't use that guitar very often because the bridge pickup is disconnected for some reason, so I really need to do some work on it. The pickups are, you know, stock Epiphone pickups. You know, it's a Les Paul, it's heavy, very thick sound, very thick neck as well. It's actually very comfortable to play. And I particularly like the fact that the neck is thin here, but very thick on the other dimension. So yeah, that's the first one. You don't see it often, again, because it needs a bit of work, but I love it. Second one, the Old Faithful Jackson King V. I purchased it in 2012 or 2013, I'm not too sure. Floyd Rose Special, EMG 81, EMG 85 active pickups. It's been my workhorse for a very long time. And this one is tuned to E standard for those thrash riffs. Yeah, no, it's a great guitar. Very, very comfortable to play because the neck is higher up, so it's easier. And you know, you get mad access to the high frets. I would use it more often, but the jack plug is wonky and just needs some time really. But it's a great guitar nonetheless. This is my most valuable guitar. This is a Jackson Dinky DK2M, M standing for Mexico, I believe. If I'm not wrong, it's a 2013 special edition. There's 151 in the world. And I think I managed to snatch the very last one, the last one that was new at the time, because I bought it rather late, it was 2017. You have the JB59 combo. I never know which one is the JB and the 59, but there you have it. That's an original Floyd Rose, volume, tone, 5-way switch, nothing out of the ordinary. This one is also tuned to E standard, lighter strings because I like to use it for James Murphy's solos, for instance. And this one does not have buckle rush because I am a bit more careful with it than the others. Outstanding guitar. I think it's the only one I haven't tweaked or modified at all. Voilà. Jackson DK2M. All right, then we have the Tbomb Custom 1, because there will be more, but that's the number one. That's a Charvel. It's a DST3FR model originally that I purchased 50% price in Singapore because I wanted to get a Trey Azak Thoth, because I wanted to get a Trey from Morbid Angel guitar. And that's what I came up with. What I did is I scraped off all the paint. I added the toothpaste logo, which I like a lot better. Painted it some kind of fairy red and slapped on good old Suffocation logo because I do love the band. The microphone is a Seymour Duncan distortion. I believe it's the TB6. And boy, it screams. It's very, very high output, sometimes almost too much. The Floyd Rose is a Floyd Rose Special or under license. No, Floyd Rose Special. It's tuned to D standard. It's pretty thick strings. And yeah, you've seen me use it for all the Cannibal Corpse songs because it's perfect for it. The action is very low. Yeah, it's a very comfortable neck. It does feel like a cheap guitar though. I bought it $300. Maybe added $150 of work on it. It is a cheap guitar, but you know, it's my cheap guitar and I put a lot of my soul in it. So I love it. And last but not least, the Ibanez RG550. I have made a video unboxing, reviewing it, which you can find up here, or yeah, up here. Well, it needs no introduction because I already made a video for it, but it's probably the most comfortable neck that I have. It's really good. Go watch the video if you want to know more about it. And yeah, that's about it. Needs no introduction. So now that you've met the ladies, let's move on. Nicholas Bum, cool nickname first of all, and thank you because you have the little heart icon, which means that you have been a subscriber, very active subscriber for a long time, and I always love reading your comments. So Nicholas Bum is saying, such a classic, fantastic work. Come on the 2,000 subscribers, well deserved. Thank you, my man. Speaking about questions, for now, I have only one. What guitar picks do you use? Thank you in advance. Well, thank you for your question. What pick do I use? Do I have one? This bad boy. Tortex T3 in 135 mils. I used to play the normal Tortex ones, and I still have plenty. But I used to play the normal Tortex ones, and they're a lot more round at the edge. And I figured out that I actually used a nail clipper to chip away the tip of the normal ones to make it pointier. And by trying that, I figured out that the attack was so much clearer. It genuinely was a lot easier to play. I did that on all my normal ones. Eventually, I just bought packs of these thicker ones. 135, I like it stiff enough. I don't like flabby picks. Yeah, you just get immediate response when you pick. You can pick very fast and the thing does not like bend. So yeah, I recommend. I put the link in the description if you want to find them easily. Next, Annabelle Martinez is asking me, where do you get your band shirts, sweatshirts? They're really nice. I want to expand my collection of shirts. Well, Annabelle, I very much agree with you, and I also am trying to expand my collection. 2/3 of my t-shirts come from online. So there are plenty of websites that sell them. The ones I use are Rockabilia, ENP. You can also browse the record labels stores themselves. Usually I go on E-Rake, Relapse Records, Seasons of Mist, because they're actually the labels of some of the bands. So they have quite a good range of merch. In some cases, bands will have their own web stores. I remember my Benediction sweatshirt and t-shirt, I got them straight from the band, from their own website. So yeah, check the band website, the label website, and then more generic website like Rockabilly or EMP. You should find what you want in there. And the other third of my collection actually comes from concerts. I've started getting band t-shirts since 2014. I have quite a few now. I always try and bring at least 1 or 2 designs home after each concert. So yeah, that's the story behind the t-shirts. I hope you can find what you want on the website I suggested. And I put the links in the description, by the way, for the website, so you can go check it out. All right, Ragno Alpha, otherwise known as Budezen, is asking me, hey Tbomb, nice video like usual. I would like to know what your top 5 metal bands. Whoa, that's a complicated one, but I will try and give you a good answer. They're not ranked in. They're not going to be ranked in order of how much I like them. It's just my top 5. Actually, the first one that I would mention is not even a metal band because it's Guns N' Roses, and the reason why is because simply that's the band that made me want to play guitar. Slash is the guy that made me want to play guitar. It sounds like every teenage guy that want to play guitar, but that is the reason. And I still think when I go back to Use Your Illusion 1 and Appetite for Destruction, I still get the same rush as I did almost 18 years ago. People always have the same kind of journey when it comes to Slash hits. When you start, it's like, oh wow, he's a guitar god. Boy, I wish I could play with him. And then at some point you find out about, Marty Friedman, Jason Baker, and you're like, Slash is nothing compared to these guys. And then as you continue playing, you realize that his playing has so many nuances. It's really like a gut kind of playing. It's not calculated at all. And then you go back to thinking, wow, he's a guitar god. That's where I'm at right now. So 1, Guns N' Roses. 2, Suffocation. For 2 reasons. I went to see them recently in August, and it has to be the concert where I was the most hyper. Like I was just, I was all over the shop. I was so happy. I was a little fangirl, really. And I have no shame in saying that. I just love that band so much. To me, Effigy of the Forgotten is the peak brutality without getting too cheesy. And by that I mean, there are some bands that are more technical than Suffocation. I don't want to say names because I'm sure some of you like these kind of bands. It's not personally my cup of tea, but they are not as brutal as Suffocation. There are some bands that are more brutal than Suffocation on the other hand, but they're not as technical. I really think it's the perfect balance. Legion of Veracity is an album I've listened to in its entirety every single day for about 10 years. 3, Carcass. I think in the span of 3 albums, Symphonies of Sickness, Necroticism, Heartwork, they've really covered 3 genres or subgenres, grindcore, proper death metal, and then melodic death metal. Bill Steer is an incredible player. I kind of have the same relationship with Necroticism as I do with Effigy of the Forgotten. I listen to it in its entirety very, very frequently, and I still don't get bored with it. I think these guys are absolutely amazing. Genre defining as well. They are some of the pioneers of death metal. Carcass is up there. I have to say Megadeth because of Marty Friedman, because of Rust in Peace. If Slash is the guy that has made me begin, Marty Friedman is the guy that made me push and continue. I think his style, he is, for me, the best guitarist ever. At least the best soloist. I don't know how good he is of a rhythm player, but when it comes to lead guitar, there is no equivalent to him. It's like every bar hides another secret. Every bar, he surprises you with another thing. So Megadeth, because of his solos, because Megadeth is an amazing band anyways, but he just magnified their work. What I'm saying is very guitar oriented. I would not have the same opinion if I wasn't playing guitar, but since you asked me. Yeah? And last but not least, I'm tossing up between Entombed and Dismember, because I think Left Hand Path is a superior record to Like an Ever-Flowing Stream, but everything that came after Dismember wins. Dreaming in Red is actually the one song, the very first song from the death metal genre that I actually liked and went back to. It is the song that made me like death metal. So I have a special something for them. I will go with Dismember. So there you have it. Guns N' Roses, Suffocation, Carcass, Megadeth, Dismember. Next question, Sergei Yukov. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Super impressive as always. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been wondering, how long do you play guitar and how much do you practice a day? It would be nice to know what is your profession or what do you study, but I've been pretty sure you wrote once that you work a job. Do you have a lot of fellow metalheads and musicians around? Thank you, cheers. Quite a bit to unpack in this one. So how long do I play guitar? and how much do I practice in a day? Well, how long have I been playing guitar? It's been close to 14 years now. How long do I practice a day? I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I don't play nearly as much as I did 5 years ago because I don't have as much time. Back in the day, I could play up to 8 hours a day. Now it's more like 2 hours every 3 days, maybe. The thing is, now the objective is a bit different. Back then, I was really trying to get more technical, to practice the picking and all that. I've kind of been past that stage now where I'm just trying to learn songs, and as I said before, if I want to learn them, I have to tap them. So I spend a fair bit of time with the guitar in my hands, but not actually playing, but just trying to transcribe a song. So things have changed a little bit, but actual playing, yeah, 6-7 hours a week, but like not every day for sure. Next part of the question is, it would be nice to know what is your profession and what do you study? I have studied business for 5.5 years, and I am working in the field of business at large. I know it's very vague, but I'm keeping it vague intentionally. I do work a job, which takes me a fair bit of time, and that's why sometimes the Q&A takes 3 weeks more than expected. Last part of your question regarding if I have any metalheads or musician friends around, the answer is no and no. I don't have any musician friends around. I've never tried to look for musician friends. I remember at university, I took a few music classes and they were all the, super nerdy, jazzy kind, so not really my type. But yeah, I never really looked for musician friends. Guitar has always been, my thing that I have on the side, and I'm happy keeping it this way. With regards to metalhead friends, again, no. And kind of for the same reason, because, in high school, everybody was listening to rap, everybody was listening to, mostly rap at the time. At the time, I was starting to listen to Metallica, Slayer, Death, Dismember. And clearly, that's not something I could share with anyone. I have some of my best friends come with me to concerts sometimes, and they know who they are, and they know they enjoyed it. So I share some time related to metal with them, but that's it. I don't have metal friends and I don't have musician friends. Annabelle Martinez again, so double thank you, because 2 questions. How come you don't show your face? Well, there are 2 reasons for that. The first one initially is that I started the channel soon after I got hired at the job where I'm at. I absolutely did not want any manager, any client to type up my name and see Cannibal Corpse Necropedophile. Like, no. If I hide my face, they can't prove it's me. Huh? I think a lot of guitarists here can relate, is when you play, sometimes you make absolutely stupid faces, and I just didn't really want it to distract from the playing. Voila! I hope that answers all your questions. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your questions. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Just before we finish, I had a bit of an idea, and maybe you can tell me in the comments what you think about it. Juan recommended me this song recently from a band called Pharmacist. That has to be one of the best recommendations I have ever been given. I absolutely love that band. They're small, I think it's a 1-man band or a 2-member band in Japan playing grindcore. Very, very, very inspired by necroticism and symphonies of sickness. And honestly, I was thinking to myself, there is so much more that so many bands that I've just never come across, and there's probably plenty of bands you guys have never come across. And I thought, since there is about 2,000 people watching my videos, why not make a playlist where everybody can add what they think their best upcoming or old school death metal song is, and maybe once a month kind of do a review or it's just an idea for now, and we'll see how it evolves. Let me know what you think about it. If you'd be interested in something like this, can make it maybe like every month or every 2-month occurrence. Yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. Don't hesitate to put any other questions you have in the comment section. If there is enough interest for it, I'll definitely do another Q&A. And I will see you soon. And I will do a review for my new guitar that should be arriving in a few hours. So stay tuned, because there is some more coming. Cheers. Bye bye.